Hey, I'm Matthew Giorgio. I want to show you a couple of really interesting game mechanics that you'll find in modern board games and card games. And you probably remember Monopoly, of course, most popular game ever made. I think it still is. And it kind of, you went around a path and you did things as you landed your token on different parts of the path. And a lot of games that came after Monopoly kind of followed that same recipe. So, it was okay for some games, but not really, doesn't really compare in the engagement level of modern game design. So if you haven't played any modern board games, card game, I encourage you to give it a try. I'm going to show you a couple of really interesting mechanics that kind of change the thinking of just going around a path and winning and so on. So let me zoom down here. I'm going to show you this in the what's called the Go. This is the Go Venture card game. My team and I designed this a couple of years ago, and it's got two themes: an entrepreneur theme where you run a business, and a monster theme where you're capturing monsters. But let me show you the business theme very quick with the mechanic that we're going to see. So the way it works is you have stores, and there's different types of stores, and you sell products. So I've got a sports store, I'm selling sports products, and I find customers like Angus Butterscotch here, who's looking for sports, or Melanie Olander, who's also a customer potentially. So as I earn customers, I earn money, revenue. You can see 6 plus 4, $10. And here's the first mechanic. There are multiple ways to win. So a lot of modern games don't have just one way to win, most money, most points. They actually could have multiple games to win, because what that does is it implements strategy more deeply into the gameplay, so that randomness that often is included in a lot of games doesn't impact a player right from the beginning, and they kind of feel like they can't win. So providing multiple ways to win, you're actually increasing the engagement level of all the players. And in this particular game, one way to win is to amass $20 in sales revenue, but the other way to win is to, what we call is, have a franchise around the world. So if you collect these world cards, all three of them, and you build the entire world deck here, you can also win that, and you do that by actually selling at least 3 different types of products in the game. So 2 different ways to win. So if you're not doing as well in the sales revenue side, you can actually do well and win the game by just selling more products than other players. So that's one interesting mechanic that you're going to find in a lot of modern games. Here's a second one. So a lot of times when you're playing a game with multiple people, so this game, for example, you play with 2 to 6 people. So let's say there's 3 to 6 people playing and somebody's doing really well. Well, ultimately, what you want to do is you end up ganging up on the person who's doing really well. And so what that does is if somebody looks like they're pulling out into the lead and they're going to win the game, the other players start ganging up on them and pull them back into the mix. And then maybe somebody else takes the lead and they pull back, they start ganging up on them. So it makes for really interesting, fun gameplay when that leader can't just wipe everybody away, when that leader becomes a target. And one of the ways we do this in this game, and again, you'll see this kind of mechanic in a lot of modern gaming, is we have what are called action cards. So while you're playing the game, you can purchase action cards, and they allow you to do things to other players, and you can choose when to use them and who to use them on. For example, here's a card that allows you to steal a product card from another player. So if there's someone who's pulling ahead of the pack and looks like they might win, you might want to play that card on them. Another example is a lawsuit where you force someone to pay $2. So again, pull that leader back. Here's a fun one. It's called a no sale. So when that person is about to make that final sale and win the game, you can pull this card and stop that sale. So this idea of having multiple ways to win and game mechanics that allow players to kind of level the playing field by pulling those leaders back into the mix really extends the gameplay and the fun and the strategy that goes with it. Anyway, I'll have some more videos with other game mechanics you might find interesting. I'm Matthew Giorgio.
businessXP is the fastest and most inspiring training ever invented for future business leaders and entrepreneurs. Discover game-based experiential learning at business-xp.com.